Do you want to create sustainable, consistent joy in your life? Do you want to feel joy every single day, excited about every single day, and hopeful about every future day going forward? That's what I offer you here today. This is the life that I live. And I'm going to share with you, essentially the 5 phases that I went through to get to this place that is just this high level of energy and this amazing existence. And at the end of the show, I'm going to tell you a very unexpected gift that I got from getting to phase 5. Something that I never thought was coming, that I really think will inspire everybody to try to do their version of all 5 phases of getting to the place of high energy time and living an amazing existence. Welcome to Build with Rob. It's your boy, Rob Dyrdek. You know what it is, out here sharing philosophy, pushing my growth onto you, essentially. I keep growing and evolving, expanding, and creating joy, consistent happiness, high energy in my life on an ongoing basis. And recently, I was really getting into the idea of like, how did this ultimately occur and what actually occurred to me? And it's because it's one of those things where, even though, I live a highly intentional life, and I created a lot of strategies to continually grow and evolve in all aspects of my life that, led me to mastering time and energy and getting to a place of being, very consistent in the quality of life and quality of thoughts and all of these things that lead to a joyful living experience. But more recently, I really began to understand what phases I went through to actually achieve this. And phase 1 is awakening to the fact that you are the self-creationist. You are the creator. Like, if you don't believe that you have the ability to create your happiness, to create your reality, to create your existence, if you don't fundamentally believe that you are actually the creator of everything, you'll never create consistent, joyful happiness life. You just won't. You have to fundamentally start with believing that you have the ability to do it. And for most people, they might dabble in it a little bit, right? Like they'll waver in and out of it. People that look at the world in a more optimistic way and kind of pursue personal development and ultimately bettering themselves, I think at their core, they believe they are the creator. Otherwise, you would just, mope around and be sad and do nothing all day and then complain about why the world is against you. You know who the person is. They're not a self-creationist. They don't believe like, oh man, I could create my own destiny here. They're like, man, like my parents, and then my uncle, and then this job, and then my friends, and then that dumb girl, and then good Lord, California, whatever. You could blame it on anything. But you have to fundamentally believe that you have the ability to create your existence. Foundational to phase 1. That is foundational if you want to get to a place where you eventually are creating nothing but joy and happiness, right? Like that is the first step, is fully understanding that is you and you have to do it. The second phase is understanding every single thing about you. Every single thing about you, and then soak in the fact that everything that you control is your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. That is everything that you control and everything that you're about. And guess what? Every single thing about you matters. In phase 2, you must fully understand that every single thing about you matters. Everything is integrated and everything plays an important role in the whole of you and ultimately your ability to create happiness and joy in your life. And for some reason, people just look past that all the time and think that there is somehow, some way that you can find consistent joy and happiness by just focusing on one or two things in your life. And it will just never happen. It will never happen. You will never find consistent, true joy in life if you just focus on a career, or you just focus on a relationship, or you just focus on your passion. You have to look at all aspects of you, everything that you do. How you spend your time, what you do, who you spend it with, the things that you think, the things that you say, the people you meet with, all of this stuff together. The content you consume, the things you follow, all of these things create the thoughts and actions and emotions that make up who you are. And you have got to build the awareness that all of them matter, and all of them are affecting you in a positive or negative way. And you have got to take control of them in order to guide them towards leading you towards creating joyful happiness and experiences in your life. That's how you have to be thinking. That is phase 2. Phase 1, you're responsible for creating it all. Phase 2, everything matters. You have got to think about it all. All of it integrates. All of it matters. All of it is you. Phase 3 is what I like to call the harmonious being. So now you understand it's your responsibility to create. You understand all the parts that matter. Now you must look at the whole of you and begin to see what makes you harmonious. What makes you feel balanced? What makes you feel healthy? What makes you feel like you're, purposeful and using everything with intention? And this is you living your best life. What is that structure? How do you look at everything about you? And what is the structure of harmony for you? And it's different for everybody. Everybody has sort of a different version of what their day, week, month, year would look like, and that would keep them in a harmonious state. And there's so many levels to it, and it's the most difficult thing to ultimately unearth, assess, and create, because it's so complex. But you have to keep asking yourself over and over and over again what you need to change to get into a more harmonious state. For some people, it's job. For some people, it's finding a relationship that's significant. Some people are just wandering without purpose. Some people need more time for their passions. Some people need more time to dedicate to their health. I think when you think about being a harmonious being, it is balance in mind, body, and energy. And it is essential that you are really taking care of yourself, finding the time to recover and reflect in order to grow into the person that you want to become. But ultimately, your version of what is harmony in your existence, you've got to continually assess and get to a place where you find harmony. And I'm telling you this, you're never going to get to a place of consistent joy and happiness without starting from a place of harmony. Like, you don't end up harmonious. You start harmonious. That's the only way to actually effectively expand and grow into life, is from a state of harmony. And guess what? If you take the time to realize this is you, your choice, you have to create it all. Everything matters. Design the whole in a harmonious way and begin to live harmoniously. You will start happy. You will start happy because you will immediately begin to see how everything feels and how great that this life and intention you have set feels. And that building from a harmonious state is a much quicker and faster and rewarding and fulfilling way to create any aspect of life. And it's joyful from the beginning. When you start with harmony, you're already in this higher energy, joyful place. And then you just literally get better and better at getting more harmonious and having more harmony in your overall existence. And for a lot of people, depending on what stage of life you're in and what you actually need to become harmonious, it may be more difficult. If you hate your job and like that's the thing that's really drawing the most of your energy and time, and you don't like it and you wish you had another career and you've got to put in the work to re-educate yourself and then go on this path, man, that's a long journey. But if you even start, you're going to have the joy of knowing one day I'm going to be in a place where the whole of me is in this much more harmonious set. And again, I went through it. I really decided life I was going to not focus on individual things and hope they would occur. I knew I was responsible for creating it. I took into account all aspects of who I was, and then designed a life that was balanced from the beginning. Man, then I really, really began to become the absolute best version of myself in a much more rapid pace, in a much more enjoyable way. And that takes us to phase 4. In phase 4 is essentially the ideal version of who you are. You need to become the ideal version of who you think you were meant to become. And think about that. Just think through, if you thought about, when you think about who you are, what do you need to become in order to be the version of you that you really think you were meant to become? How healthy are you? What type of relationship are you? What career do you have? How do you spend your time? Where do you spend your time with your family, your friends, your passions? All of it integrated together to make up your existence, along with your personal identity, because we're all different. And even if your identity is super over the top and complex and difficult, you got to identify what it is, put a line in the sand of this is who I want to become. You've got to believe that you can create that path. You got to account for all aspects of you. You've got to organize, build harmony in your life, and then grow into that ideal identity that you see for yourself, regardless of what it is. And for me, I made it difficult. I really needed, to live in a crazy house, and I needed to make hundreds of millions of dollars. And I needed what I needed to do to get to the point where I connected who I believed I was supposed to be and meant to be with who I actually was a big chasm. But I got there. And the most fascinating part about getting to the ideal version of you and meeting up with not just who you wished you would become, but who you think you were meant to be, is this extraordinary feeling. It is what I would consider almost like high performer enlightenment. When I finally realized the identity of who I always thought I could become, it was the most fulfilling, rewarding feeling ever, because I did it in a harmonious way and got better and better at growing and evolving into me. And by the time I became the ideal version of what I thought I could become, it was so clear to me how much more potential I had. So if you can imagine, man, I knew it was my responsibility to create. I began to account for everything. I built harmony and balance, and then grew into the person I always thought I was meant to be. But when I got there, I was a completely different person than I could have ever imagined. And now this person who was more harmonious and understood all aspects of them, and now built the belief that, man, I could create anything. And then I entered phase 5, this perpetually evolving into my limitless potential phase, where it is this effortless and joyful human experience of continually growing into a better version of yourself as a way of life, as a way of life. I don't practice gratitude. I am overwhelmed with it on a daily basis. I effortlessly continue to evolve and grow into a version of myself that I never even could even imagine was possible. Once I grew and evolved into and past the ideal version of what I thought I was capable of becoming. And man, this is where incredible joy lies. Where you are just living every single day, where you are experiencing and loving all aspects of the time that you've created, because you're now in a phase of life where it's beyond your wildest dreams. Only you can see so much further into the future of the potential of what you can become. So you are experiencing this incredible joy each day, but you can't wait for the future because you know it's going to be more amazing and more exciting. And then that energy that comes along with that, oh man, that is this incredible feeling of being in awe of how the human experience works. That is what's possible if you get to phase 5. That is, to me, modern day enlightenment. Because I didn't judge. It's not a matter of needing to be, having nothing going on in life. I had to build a complex life around getting to this level. And I had a lot of complex needs, a lot of material needs that people would be like, oh, that's not enlightenment. You can't want a $40 million house. That's not enlightenment. Give that to donate that. But for me, these are the things that I wanted to be a part of and wanted to be achieved because that was my identity. And these are now the things that I enjoy creating. But here's the most interesting thing about what landed in the gift that I got of this phase that's much different is I feel younger than I've ever felt before. And I wonder, man, you got to this high level of joy and happiness at this level. Why do you feel healthier and happier and younger than you've ever felt before? And I realized that you feel young when you're just rapidly growing and you see all the possibilities in yourself. That is what you felt like when you were 12 and 13 and 16 and 18 and 20, headed into 50. I am rapidly growing and evolving and see all of these limitless possibilities of what I have yet to do in the rest of my existence. And what that actually, the gift that is I just feel younger than I've ever felt. To me, that this perpetually evolving into your limitless potential is also like the fountain of youth. Because regardless of your age, it is your spirit that continues to evolve and grow and can't wait to realize the potential that you have yet to achieve. And at the end of the day, that is what it's all about. Just finding the joy, trying to live every day in high energy and be excited about the possibilities of the future. That is the joy of life. And as far as I'm concerned, the ultimate human experience. But as I say, you got to design a plan for yourself to get there. You got to just keep growing into it until that belief is unwavering. And ultimately, it's on you to make it happen. Until next time, see it, believe it, do it.